You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in. Well, it's election 2010, and we're continuing our Byline series of candidate interviews to help you decide how to spend your vote. The second half hour, you'll meet Democrat Susie Hamilton, who will be joining us in just a moment, and then Republican Beth Dawson will be here. Both are running for the New Hanover County 18th District State House seat. And Susie Hamilton, we appreciate you coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
So why did you decide to run?
You know, I have a background in public service. I started my career as a city planner and worked in the State Historic Preservation Office, Survey and Planning Branch. Went to Little Washington and ran their Downtown Development Division and Historic Preservation Division. Came back home to Wilmington in 1998 and worked for the City of Wilmington in Downtown Development, and left the City of Wilmington as a senior planner in 2001 for the entire City of Wilmington. From 2001 to 2006, I ran the Downtown Economic Development Organization. It was then called DARE.
And now it's Wilmington Downtown.
Now it's Wilmington Downtown.
So to you, this is a natural progression of what you've done?
It certainly is. In 2007, I left and started my own, went to work in the construction industry doing business development and sales, started my own company. But what I found during that period from 2007 to 2010 that I desperately missed public service and really wanted to return to that work.
So what do you think? We're in an unusual political environment right now.
We are.
Well, Tea Party, independents, conservative, liberal, progressive are all terms that are bantered about and that seem to be catching attention. What do you think about the political environment?
Well, it's a very disruptive environment right now because people are suffering because of our economic situation, and there's a tendency to look to leadership to try to solve those problems. The private sector is really having a tough time. There are people that are out of jobs, they're losing their homes, they're struggling to support their families, and I think that creates an air of frustration and confusion, and we're looking for direction as a nation.
What are your thoughts on all the recent surveys that reveal a majority of voters don't trust government on any level, on their ability on government's ability to manage, to be truthful, to be transparent? Do you think that people feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a very natural reaction. Again, I think it's driven by the lack of employment opportunities. I mean, America is the land of opportunity. And right now, we're not able to offer the things that we've been benefited from in the past. Therefore, people are frustrated and they're looking for answers. They're looking for
let
answers.
me throw a few things out that have caught the public's attention in the last year or so. Charges of corruption against the former governor Easley, his administration. Campaign irregularities by the sitting governor. There's a highway patrol scandal.
Yeah.
There's charges of corruption against the SBI, excuse me, in the state crime lab. Your seat was the seat held by Thomas Wright. He's in prison for corruption. DOT and lottery money being converted to other uses. Local ABC management or mismanagement and corruption. Brunswick County elected officials caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and the bizarre saga of Senator R.C. Soules, just in this state and really this region.
Just in this region, that's correct.
What's going on?
Well, there's obviously an ethical standard that the past generation of leadership in North Carolina has not lived up to. And, you know, what I bring to the table is a young, energetic approach that's in no way associated with any of that past history related to the Democratic Party or the other side of the aisle as well. District 18 is a newly formed district.
Because it's been redistricted.
It's been redistricted. It is now entirely within New Hanover County for the first time.
Pender and New Hanover.
It certainly did, and before that it had even reached into other counties, is my understanding, long ago. You know, I was born in 1972. I'm 38 years old. This is my first foray into an elected office. I am an extremely ethical person. I have run a small business. I've run a nonprofit organization successfully with no questions about my integrity. I have the right skill set to be successful in the legislative environment and intend to bring change to the legislature and be effective there. Because we've had trouble being effective over the years because of all of the things that you've just mentioned.
Let's talk about that district for a minute, District 18, the district you're running for,
Yeah.
the seat. It's been redistricted. It's now an exclusively New Hanover County seat. There was, it was drawn really to help minority voters have a voice in Raleigh.
Right.
That's kind of been eliminated, has it not?
Well, I'm a young woman, so I guess technically speaking, it's a protected class. But I don't believe that it's been eliminated. I live in downtown Wilmington with my family. We've lived there on and off since 1996. We love our city. We love the inner city and being a part of that dynamic. And so my intention is to represent all of District 18 and each and every citizen in the community.
Do you know what the racial makeup is of the district?
Sure. The district itself right now among the Democratic Party is about a 50-50 split. That might not be entirely accurate, but it's
What is that, African American?
African American versus white on the Democratic side. And the Democratic membership, if you will, in District 18 is about 55 or 56%. So this district still votes heavily minority and heavily Democrat. And that traditionally has done so, and we don't really anticipate anything different this year. I've spent a lot of time over the last 8 months reaching out to the community, both in Castle Hayne and
You talk about the minority community?
the minority community in Castle Hayne and in our inner city, and listening to their concerns. Their concerns are just like everybody else's at this point. It's education of their children, because every child in our country deserves the best quality education and the best opportunities possible, and jobs. They are very concerned about jobs, and that's where my experience comes to the table.
All right, so what do you want to do if you go to Raleigh? What are some of your priorities?
Education and job creation. Those are the two most critical
How
things
do you
we can do
create
in North
jobs?
Carolina. You create an environment where job opportunities are attractive, where new companies want to
All right, let's
come.
stop there for a second. Titan Cement is sort of an interesting phenomenon. One of the advantages, say proponents are jobs.
Yeah, sure.
Environmentalists are opposed to the potential hazards of that project. Where do you stand on that?
What frustrates me about Titan is that, on a regional level, I don't believe we've done the best job we could have in developing our economic development strategies
Do you
as a
support
community.
the Titan coming here?
No, not as it was currently proposed. Now, I am to understand that since they have submitted their applications and have been delayed, that the EPA has passed substantial new emission standards that the company will have to abide by. But let me finish that thought. What we need in this region is an economic development strategy and a message to the business leaders throughout the country as to what kind of industries we want to be recruiting. And that isn't just about branding and marketing. It's also about changing zoning standards around our sensitive waterways and resources that will eliminate the possibility of bringing smokestack industries into our community.
Let's talk about the delegation, the local delegation, because that's who will be really our voice in Raleigh. Two Republicans, longtime Republicans, Danny McComas and Carolyn Justice, have been in the House a long time. You will be a Democrat if you're elected in that group. Have you talked to them?
Sure.
How do you feel that you could work with them?
Just to name two issues, Carolyn, Representative Justice, has is very supportive of environmental issues. And so she and I see eye to eye on that, about sustainable development, sustainable growth, and quality of life here, which is all about environment.
And how about Danny McComas?
Danny McComas and I are in lockstep with one another on the film incentives. I'm a huge proponent of supporting our film industry in this community and throughout the state of North Carolina, but predominantly in District 18. We are the foundation of the film industry in the state of North Carolina. We've lost ground there, and we need to step it back up.
How about your position on the Skyway Superbridge?
I support infrastructure projects that will help us sustain our growth and have sufficient infrastructure to support our citizens. So the price tag on that is extraordinarily high. I don't know where the money is going to come from, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've got the answer on that. But as a matter of principle, we've got to do what we have to do to support infrastructure projects in this community.
What about offshore drilling?
Oh,
that ever
opposed.
You're opposed?
Yeah. It's a finite resource, and we've got to be looking at renewable sources of energy. Even if we went out there and drilled, what we've heard is that, and what we're being told by the professionals, is it's still a 20, 25-year source, and it's not worth it.
How's fundraising going?
Oh, about like expected, right? I've been in fundraising for many years. This is a difficult time, but our campaign.
How much have you raised?
Oh gosh, I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. I think our last report was around $40,000. Don't quote me on that.
How important is that to getting elected?
I'm not going to buy this election. I am confident in my abilities to serve, confident in my ability to get into the legislature and be heard and fight for what the citizens of New Hanover County need. This isn't about money. This is about qualifications.
We're out of time.
And we're confident that we can do it.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Susie Hamilton, stay with us. Some more in our next segment with Republican Beth Dawson, who will face off with Susie Hamilton in this race for the 18th District State House seat. As our special Byline Election 2010 series continues, we'll be right back.